to the first episode of my Veronaville Let's Play in The Sims 4. If you click this video and you have no idea what Veronaville is, don't worry, it is pretty easy to follow along with the story. Veronaville is one of the neighborhoods that came with The Sims 2, and it was meant to be the European neighborhood in a way. So as such, they decided to give it a Shakespearean theme, with the main lore being the feud between the Monties and the Capps, and the tragic love story between two of their heirs, Romeo and Juliette. So of course, this is all a reference to that play and the Montagues and the Capulets. So in this Let's Play, we will be following that cast of characters from The Sims 2 as I created them in The Sims 4. And just as a heads up, I don't plan on following the plot of Romeo and Juliet exactly or any Shakespearean plot, but this Let's Play will be a mix of storytelling with actual gameplay features from The Sims 4. And I have to admit that the main motivation for starting this Let's Play is that I have been making this save file since 2024 actually, and now that The Sims 4 seems to be collapsing around us, I would really regret not playing the story through in The Sims 4 as I've been wanting to for years. So we will be playing rotationally between 5 households, which represent the 3 main families of Veronaville, which are the Capps, the Monties, and the Summer Dreams. And in this episode, we will start with the main Capp household, who are meant to represent the Capulets, that is Juliette's family in Romeo and Juliet. And this household is headed by Consort and Contessa Capp and their grandchildren Tybalt, Juliette, and Hermia, who they raised as their parents sadly passed away in a fire when they were all children. Before I begin to play, I do want to briefly introduce this family. So let's start with Contessa Capp. Actually, Contessa is not alive on The Sims 2, but I've always wanted to play with her, so I decided to bring her into the save file. So yes, she's alive, she's still heading the Capp family, and Contessa's traits are family-oriented, materialistic, and proper. And I also have a mod that allows you to have The Sims 2 aspirations as traits, so she's also a fortune sim. And one interesting thing about the Capps is that they follow a matriarchal line, so the head of the family is always a woman, and the Capps have a lot of women in their family. So Contessa's main worry at the moment, besides the feud with the Monties, is choosing who will be the main heir, who's going to be the next head of the family once she passes away. And I'll get more into that whole thing later, but I am excited to play with her and explore more of her interesting past with the Monty family. And speaking of interesting pasts with the Monties, next we have Consort Capp, who is Contessa's husband, and his traits in The Sims 4 are snob, neat, and shady, and he is also a fortune sim like Contessa. And Consort, despite the Capps being a matriarchal family, Consort actually shares a lot of the responsibilities of the family with Contessa, because the Capps are actually a business family and they run a company together. So at the moment, Consort and Contessa are actually co-CEOs of the Capp family business, and he's very proud to be a Capp. He was actually originated from the Thebe family, so he is a descendant of Princess Cordelia, which means that technically this branch of the Capps are related to royalty, but they are not considered royalty in my game. We're not doing all that. But I do plan on introducing maybe some part of his family during our gameplay. So yeah, there will be some references to the Thebes as well. Next, we have Juliette Capp. She's actually the middle child of this group, but I decided to introduce her first because she is kind of the golden child of the Capps and also kind of the main character of Veronaville at this point. But I always found the character of Juliette in this game to be very interesting, so her traits here are genius and romantic, and unlike her Sims 2 version, I decided to make her a knowledge sim instead of a family sim. And I did this in part for variety. It really bothered me that there were no women who are knowledge sims in Veronaville originally. And I have always played Juliette as being really smart, really great at school, great at logic, and charismatic. But of course, romantic as well, because this is Juliette after all. But another very big thing that I did change from The Sims 2 to The Sims 4 as well is that her and Romeo have not actually met each other yet. So in The Sims 2, they are childhood friends and they were already in love in the beginning of the game. But in my version of Veronaville, the teens don't really have established relationships yet. I think their families did a better job at separating them here. So yeah, this Juliette does not know Romeo, but she does have some romantic tendencies in her already. Next up, we have the eldest of the Capp siblings, Thibault Capp. And Thibault is a very interesting sim. From the younger part of the family, he's probably the one who cares the most about the Capp and Monty feud. But as the eldest, he is also the one who has more memories of the fire accident that took both of his parents' lives. So I do think that plays a big part in his anger about everything. And his traits here are active and hot-headed. In The Sims 2, he actually had level 10 fitness, but I did tone it down to level 7 just so we have something to work towards. But that is still the most fitness any Sims have in the save file, so he will most likely win most fights he gets into anyways. But despite being kind of, an instigator, he is actually a popularity Sim, so he does crave some sort of attention and acceptance after all. Also, going against what I just spoke about the teens, Thibault actually does have some past with the Monties. Well, we will probably see that during gameplay today, so I won't go too much into detail right now. Last but not least, we have the youngest sibling, Hermia Capp, and just to briefly explain their ages actually, because I know it can get confusing since they are all teenagers. I don't really do exact ages in The Sims, but I do imagine there's not much of an age gap between the Capp siblings, so I would say they have maybe 1 year of difference to each other. So Hermia would be 15, Juliette 16, and Thibault 17 at this point. But Hermia's traits are bookworm and loner, and I do think she's very unique. From all the Capps, Hermia is probably the one who is less interested in the feud. She's just very chill and she likes to mind her own business and read her books. She tends to be very drama free, which is interesting also. I know I said I won't be doing too much Shakespeare plots, but I do believe Hermia is the only Capp that was named after a character in a comedy instead of a drama. I could be wrong, but I do think she stands out from the rest of her family a lot. Oh, and I forgot to mention that despite all that I just said, she does have the family sim trait. She did have it in The Sims 2. I decided to keep her for her. And I just think that maybe she craves kind of that family bond, or she wants to, always have a big family because she did grow up mostly without her parents and everything. But yeah, I definitely think she cares a lot about her family, not so much the whole dynasty aspect of it. Now, before we move on, I do want to briefly introduce you guys to the pets that I gave the Capp family. Of course, the Capps didn't really have pets in The Sims 2 because they didn't have that pack yet, but I just felt like the Capps would have dogs. I mean, a lot of the Capps are actually more cat people, like Hermia and Thibault. I think Thibault is canonically a cat person in Romeo and Juliet. But yeah, I just felt like Consort and Contessa would like dogs more, so I gave them 2 dogs. So this is a Charles Spaniel, I believe, and she's called Madam. And right behind her, looking really sad, we have a lady. Lady is a border collie, I believe. I'm really bad with dog breed names, but I did get both of these dogs from a creator on the gallery, so I will have their name on the description if you guys want to download the dogs as well. We actually have a Capp dynasty set up. So if we go into the details, we can see a little bit more about the Capps. I did write a little description for every dynasty, but I kind of did this like really quickly off the top of my head, so please don't judge me too much. Cunning, fierce, and vicious are just a couple words that can describe the Capp dynasty. As one of the founding families of Veronaville, they have left their name and trademark in nearly every part of the city. just beware not to cross them. They are, you know, a big family, big influential family in Veronaville. They do have kind of a business dynasty. They're not like royals or rulers of Veronaville. We're not doing that. But they are, you know, influential because they own basically most of the city in my head canon. And I did set up all of this already. So their main skills there are encouraged our logic, swordsmanship, and entrepreneur. That's such a hard word to say, but yeah, this kind of gives you an idea already of the kind of family they are. Their ideals are hardworking, vicious, and bold. This is actually really interesting. I think hardworking makes a lot of sense since they are a business family. But vicious, I felt like I kind of had to do this since I used the word vicious in their description. But that basically means that they're not the nicest dynasty. I think if you know the Capps in The Sims 2, they literally had like very low nice points. They were very grouchy and they were always, you know, fighting. They're definitely instigators when it comes to fights and stuff. And bold, I feel like also fits them very well. They are very, you know, confident, and they do take, you know, a lot of risks in their life. So currently we don't really have alliances, even though we are friends with the Summer Dream family, but we do have a rivalry, of course, with the Monties. And I'm gonna be honest, this is my first time using the system. I don't know what the order means. Like, I don't know why Goneril is second and Consort is fourth, for example. But this is interesting. This is very, very interesting. Before we start playing, the last thing that I want to do is a house tour. I'll try to make this quick. But if you're interested in downloading this version of the Capp Manor, it is already available on my Tumblr page. I'm gonna have the link to it in the description below, so you can go there and download it. But please be aware that it is very CC heavy. I do provide all the CC. But yeah, since this is a personal build, I really didn't hold back on the variety of CC, so it's a lot of stuff, so just be aware of that. But yeah, if you do download it, let me know in the comments what you thought, if everything is working all right, and have fun. As you can see, I did take mostly inspiration from the original house with the outside, but I added a lot of stuff because the original is kind of empty, but we have, you know, the levels kind of going up to the house. We have a few activities that we can do outside, like archery, and then over here we have the swordsmanship dummy. This is mostly for Tybalt. We have a seating area outside next to a little lake. No, not lake. This is a pond. To the left side of the house, we actually have the Capp family graveyard, which was a feature in the original build as well. And I do have all of the ancestors in here, and the ghosts do come out every night and they mess the house up. One of them started a fire and everything, so yeah. But now let's take a quick look inside the house. So this is the view as you come in the house. It is a very kind of dark house, but I did use a lot of blues and reds as pops of color. But yeah, I just wanted it to look very rich and not super vibrant, even though it is quite, you know, colorful. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Lots of golds and, you know, bouquets of flowers and sculptures and paintings everywhere. You guys can see that I have a lot of paintings of maybe Capp ancestors. I just wanted the house to really show kind of the Capp family history. And speaking of Capp family history, to this side I actually started doing a little photo wall with some old pictures that I took of the Capps. So we have this picture of Cordelia and Caliban, who are, you know, the siblings' parents before they passed away. We have Contessa here at her wedding, and then Contessa and Consort. So yeah, just a bunch of pictures of them kind of in the past. And I started doing this here in this corner, but I feel like it's too small and I want to have maybe more pictures, so I might actually move it here at some point. But yeah, you guys are gonna notice there's a lot of pictures of the family in this house. I really like this one as well. This is actually Consort and his mother. So this is the only picture that I have of the Thebes side of the family, but I would like to incorporate a little bit more of them as well with time. So now if we take a right turn, we are actually in Consort and Contessa's bedroom, which is the master suite in the house. I decided to keep the floor plan in the first floor kind of similar mostly to the original. We have some more pictures. We have a little family picture, which the quality is horrible. And we actually have Cordelia's urn here, just like in the original Capp manor. And as I've said, lots of pictures. So we have a picture of Contessa, consort, and a picture of their wedding in the middle. A lot of history in this house. And then going inside this door, we have their bathroom. I'm probably not gonna show every single bathroom, but theirs is kind of the one I think where I decorated the most. So yeah, I kind of like it how it turned out. But leaving the bedroom and going to the other side of the house, first we have a little sitting area over here. I really wanted to add this burned down picture because I like to think that they rescued this painting from the house that burned down. Kind of a somber way to remember the fire forever, but I feel like the caps are this type. So going over here, we have the dining room, which is probably the fanciest part of the house. I feel like this is something that they would have maybe for a really long time, and they just preserve the furniture and everything. So this is what it looks like. We actually have a little piano first. I feel like the Thebes would be really into music and everything. And then we have a few more pictures. We actually have an ancestor from consort that kind of looks like this, so it works out. But yeah, this is their fancy dining room. We also have this item which came from the last event that we had, and I think this is also from the Thebe side of the family. And if you didn't do the event, you can actually still get the event rewards through a mod. I think I linked it in the Tumblr post as well. So yeah, you can go there and get all of the event rewards that you missed. But going to this side, we have, more paintings, more decoration and stuff. And we actually have a lot of nectars over here in the nectar racks that the caps collected. But going inside, here we actually have the kitchen. I think I did the kitchen mostly with life and death furniture and then a lot of, CC decoration and stuff. But I do really like how it turned out. I especially love this item. The red little outlines don't actually show in live mode, but it basically allows you to have multiple appliances in the same spot. And yeah, it's just a must-have. I can't live without it now. But now we're gonna go all the way back into the living room and actually go up the second floor through this stairway, which will take us to this little landing area. So the second floor is where I changed the floor plan the most. I think the bedrooms are still pretty similar to the original, but the original house was just so small in the second floor, so I added a bunch more rooms. So the first room that I added was the smaller, maybe butler's room. We actually have a butler. I didn't introduce him, but yeah, we have a butler's room. I do feel a little bad that the butler has a single bed, but it is a fancy bedroom. He has his own fireplace and everything, so I don't think he will be missing much in there. And then to this side, we actually have Thibaut's room. And I think Thibaut's room shows his personality pretty well. I just wanted to show kind of the kind of sim that he is. We have a lot of swords and kind of decor and stuff, and lots of red, just because Thibaut always wears a lot of red and stuff, so I imagine this is his favorite color. And he actually has a picture of his family by his bedside table as well, which is pretty cute. And he has a few more over here. So he has a few awards that I imagine he got from competitions when he was younger. He's actually pretty good at a lot of stuff. He's a very talented sim. He's very fit. He's very good at swordsmanship. And he was actually really good at ballet growing up. So yeah. And he has a picture over here of Cordelia and Caliban, who are his parents who passed away. So, deep down, Thibaut is very caring and he loves his family very much. Next to his bedroom, we have Hermia's bedroom. And Hermia, I think her bedroom actually shows her personality a lot more. I really like doing kind of the conflicting patterns and colors. I feel like Hermia would be kind of a maximalist in that way, and she always had the cheetah print in her bedroom in The Sims 2, so I really wanted to have something to represent that. But as you can see, she does have a lot of goth decoration. She is kind of gothy. I feel like she would just be the type to love decorating like every single corner of her bedroom. So that's what I did here. She also has her own nice bathroom. She actually has my favorite one just because I really love this bathtub. But yeah, also very, very chic and very clean. Now, before we move on to Juliet's bedroom, I actually added another room that isn't in the original, which is probably my favorite room in the house, which is their home library slash office. And yeah, I just feel like the Caps needed this addition to their house. And this is actually my favorite room, especially this little corner right here. It's so cozy, and they actually stay here a lot. I imagine because we have a lot of items like the chess table, and we have the tables for the homework, and they have the computer here. So yeah, they do tend to kind of all come together here and hang out. I also really like this item here with the keys. This is also a reward from the last event and stuff, but I feel like it's something that the Caps would definitely have to show off in their house. And I gave them a little crow. I completely forgot this item even existed. I hate that this is an item and not an actual pet, but I feel like if any family was gonna have a crow, it would be the Caps. And in here we have their little home office, and yeah, I actually put a little picture here of Consort and Contessa. And this is where they work when, you know, they stay home instead of going to the cab company. But now let's go to the other side of the second floor. So we have another little landing area with a lot of the pet stuff and just another seating area over here. But if we go to the side, we actually have 2 bedrooms here. So this house has 6 bedrooms, I believe, total. So the first bedroom here is just a guest bedroom, so it is a pretty simple bedroom. This is where maybe some of the family comes and stays sometimes. They do have a pretty big family. But to this side, we actually have Juliette's bedroom, which is kind of the main bedroom and the second floor. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it is quite messy. I don't know why, but I always had Canon Juliette as being kind of messy in a way. I feel like she's a bit of an overachiever and she has a lot of, you know, interests in different stuff. So she would just kind of be all over the place with all of her stuff. But it's still pretty, you know, organized and clean. She just has a lot of like stuff, a lot of items. She does have her own fireplace. She's the only sibling that does have a fireplace. But now before we move on, I do want to show 2 features from Juliette's bedroom, which I think are pretty important to the gameplay. So the first one is that she actually has her own little balcony. Maybe one day, you know, Romeo would be here talking to Juliette through her balcony. And speaking of that, if we go back into her bedroom, she actually has another window over here through this side, which is actually the high school years sneak out window. And I have a mod where you can sneak someone in, so yeah, maybe we'll do something with this as well. If you are downloading this build and you want to use this window, just make sure to delete the items which are on the way. I believe you can keep the chair, but yeah, if you delete everything that's on the way of the window, it should work perfectly. I did play test it before, so yeah, enjoy. Okay, so now we're gonna finally start playing. So as you guys saw in the intro, Romeo and Juliette are having a little bit of a chat. This is actually an interaction from a mod and not just an animation. And I think Hermia has a lot to vent to Juliette. I wonder what they're gonna chat about. It actually gives us a pop-up. But one thing that I did notice is that she has an angry moodlet. So she has an aggravating leadership moodlet. It's going away, but it says it's hard to act respectfully when the only thing Hermia wants to do is rant about these awful decisions. So maybe she needed to rant a little bit. Oh my god, the crow is so loud. I actually could not focus, but yeah, I imagine she's ranting a little bit to Juliette. And this moodlet is actually from Contessa, who is the leader, of course. She got a sentiment. Yeah, poor leadership. Hermia has a hard time understanding some of the choices Contessa has made for the dynasty. What is she thinking? So she got this as soon as I set up the dynasty and I did some changes to their values and stuff, and Hermia did not agree to it at all. Oh, they're talking about their studies now, and Juliette said the workload has been overwhelming lately. I might have Contessa asked the butler to cook something, even though from my experience the butler makes usually makes the meal that has nothing to do with the time of the day, so he'll make like dinner at 7 a.m. So let's see, she was reminiscing over here. This looks like fish or chicken. I'm gonna have Contessa cook something just in case this doesn't work. Let's see. Yeah, this is trout. We're not gonna eat trout at 7 a.m. I'm gonna put this on the fridge for later. Okay, Contessa dropped her coffee, so I'm just gonna have Juliette drink it. I'm gonna have Hermia drink it as well. And we actually have some plans for today. So today is actually the last day of summer. Supposedly it is prom, but I imagine they're just coming from summer break. So it is actually the last weekend before classes come back on Monday. And the school they go to actually has a tradition of doing kind of a back to school event. They go to a very fancy private school, so they're actually going to a masquerade ball. Hermia! Oh my god, tricking to believing in giant chickens. That's what I'm talking about. Now that they have the dynasty, all they want to do is mean stuff. I keep having to cancel everything. Because I don't want them to be mean to each other. Hermia and Juliette usually get along so well. I'm gonna have Juliette apologize. They can fight if they want to, but it's just a bit much at the moment. Oh, Contessa has been indulging in culinary pursuits a lot lately and seems to be going fairly well. Would she be interested in cuisine becoming her one true hobby? I feel like the Capps would not be super into cooking, especially since it is kind of the thing that the Monties are known for. But maybe Contessa does like cooking. Maybe she has some stuff, in common with the Monties after all. How's Thibaut doing? Thibaut wants to become friends with Samson, the butler. Speaking of which, this is Samson Thorne. And I chose this name because I believe it's actually the name of one of the servants of the Capulets in Romeo and Juliet. So that's why I gave him that name. Oh yeah, they decided to eat here at the kitchen. That's fine. They can do that. Maybe they only like eating at the table for dinner, but they're all so quiet. Oh, Contessa is angry from witnessing inappropriate behavior, probably from Hermie and Juliet fighting. She was not happy about that. But going back to what I was saying, so the teens actually have a masquerade ball to go later today. It is only for the teenagers, so yeah, Consort and Contessa are not coming. But other than that, we don't really have plans for today other than just, hanging out. So I guess we'll see what they want to do. So Hermia wants to read a book and study drama at university. That's interesting. It's still gonna take a while until Hermia goes to uni, but that's an interesting thought. I need to keep an eye on those two. Yeah, that's exactly why I need to keep an eye on them. So Contessa is getting fed up with Consort being mean to her. She will divorce Consort if it happens one more time. I'm gonna have him get away from Contessa for a little bit because I cannot imagine a universe where they get divorced. Not because they love each other, but because it would be so scandalous. Even though that's such an old school thing to think. So I'm just gonna have him sit down over here and do some work to kind of avoid fighting with Contessa, because yeah. But I actually pinned this one earlier, so Consort had the one to fight with Patricio. So Patricio is right there, time to show him who's the boss. I don't know if maybe Patricio was around here at some point, but yeah, next time we see Patricio, it's on site. So I think now I'm just gonna have them do their hobbies until it's maybe 2 or 3, and Juliette's gonna invite her cousin Miranda Capp to come over, and they're gonna get ready for the ball together. They're not gonna go to a salon or anything. They're just gonna get ready at home. Oh, and Hermia is actually writing in her journal. She's scribbling furiously because she's super angry both about her dynasty and yeah, her conversation with Juliette. I feel like being the youngest in this household would be kind of rough with all of these strong personalities and her being kind of the more shy one and quiet one. And I might actually have Thibaut take Lady for a walk. She has been running around the house. Yeah, she totally has the zoomies. He can't even take her for a walk because she won't stop. Okay, bye Thibaut. Bye lady. How do you even make a score? Like how many blocks do they need? Oh, they need 4 blocks. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, for a genius, she's really bad at big block, but let's just invite Miranda over. Come over, girl. The girls are finally getting ready. Juliette is doing her makeup here at Hermia's vanity. They're all at Hermia's bedroom because Hermia is the only one who has a little makeup table. Juliette keeps wanting to be mean to Hermia. Go focus on your makeup. I might need to rethink the whole dynasty values thing because see, they all want to be just so evil. And even though I think the capps are mean, I don't want them to be mean to each other all the time. And I feel like this autonomy is way too strong. The dynasty autonomy is way too strong. So I don't know, maybe I'll have... See, I tried to cancel this and she still did it anyways. Apologize. Oh my god. But I totally forgot to introduce her. So this is Miranda Capp. She is the cousin of Hermia and Juliette. And I imagine she is the same age as Juliette. I'm actually not sure, like canonically, if she's older or younger than them. But she's around the same age. She's in high school as well. I'm not gonna talk too much about her traits and personality and stuff because we're gonna do that once we play with her household. But remember when I said that the teenagers, other than Thibaut, don't really care much about the whole Monty-Capp rivalry? I think Miranda is definitely one of the Sims that care less. She's kind of up there with Hermia in not really giving much of a care about this whole rivalry and dynasty thing. She just kind of likes to do her own thing. It's already 4, so I might have them start changing their outfit already. I think Juliette did the makeup. I'm not really seeing that in her face, probably because she already has some makeup. Oh, she just got a bad sentiment with Miranda, didn't she? Oh, they just lost a lot of friendship, I think. Dynastic Frontarian. What does Miranda really contribute to the dynasty? Sometimes Juliette wonders if everyone would be happier if she just left. That's crazy. Juliette is so much meaner than I intended her to. But I don't know, I guess I can kind of see why they would see Juliette as such a good kind of next head of the family. Maybe she'll go through some growth while we play with her. Okay, while Thibaut is still coming home, I'm gonna have the girls put on their outfits and I'll meet you guys when they're all ready. Okay, the girls finally got done getting dressed and I love their outfits so much. So I'm gonna pause it because it is almost 6, which is the time they're supposed to leave, and Thibaut is still coming home. So the masquerade they're going to has kind of a color scheme. It is black, gold, and dark blue. All of the guests are gonna dress in those colors. So we have Juliette here wearing this long black dress. And I'm gonna have the name of the creator of the masks on the description because I downloaded them so long ago. I actually don't remember, but I'm pretty sure they are based on masks from a different video game. But I just love how they look so much. I think she looks so beautiful. And yeah, the color scheme was totally inspired by the masks. This is Hermia's outfit and I just feel like this outfit fit her so much, and I'm pretty sure this dress is either from the Crystal Creations pack or from a CC pack inspired by that pack. And yeah, I just felt like it fit her vibe so well. And then this is what Miranda's outfit looks like. I'm pretty sure this dress is by Scented. So yeah, she's wearing more of the gold sort of color and she also has one of the cool masks from the pack. I really wanted the 3 of them to kind of have all the different colors incorporated into their look. And actually the one who has the coolest mask is Thibaut. So last but not least, this is the outfit that Thibaut is going to wear. I just love the full face mask and I feel like it fits Thibaut's kind of character so well. And he also has, you know, a really fun suit. So yeah, I'm really excited to actually go to the masquerade and for you guys to see everyone's outfit. I had a lot of fun kind of dressing all of the teenagers and stuff. So I'll meet you guys there. Okay, so this is the lot where we will be having our masquerade ball. This is the grand ballroom built by EvaRotky. I'll have the name in the description as well. I did make a lot of changes to the interior decoration, so it fit with our black and gold and blue color theme. And yeah, just to have some more decorations to kind of fit the more whimsical nature of Veronaville and this ballroom. And the masquerade is actually being hosted by Oberon and Titania Summer Dream, and I like to think that they host and plan a lot of the events that go down in Veronaville. So yeah, they're kind of here as the only chaperones for the teens, which I don't know if it's the best idea. If you're not familiar with the Summer Dreams, they are one of the families in The Sims 2, and it was always implied that they are kind of magical. They are based on fairy characters in Shakespeare, and as most fairies, they are very mischievous and they like to kind of mess around with, you know, people's feelings a little bit. So yeah, we'll see what shenanigans they come up with today. So I am controlling the Summer Dreams since they are the hosts, and I was kind of, you know, setting up the food and everything. And yeah, I guess we can try to see what options we have as fairies. Oh, is it safe to say that Titania likes gossip? Absolutely. I'm not gonna introduce them in a lot of detail right now because we will be playing with them very soon, but yeah, they are here and we are gonna play with them a little bit. But the Capps arrived kind of early. There's not a lot of people here yet, so I'm gonna have them take some pictures together maybe before everything starts. Let's take a friendly photo with Hermia. So I'm gonna have Juliette and Thibault take some pictures over here at the little photo op area. Oh, okay, this is a cute one. Let's take some photos. This one as well. I'm gonna take a little moment to take some of their pictures and then I'll be right back. Okay, now that we're done taking photos, I think most of the teenagers have arrived. Yeah, most of the teenagers are kind of congregated here listening to Oberon. I might actually turn on the radio now. I had to put it quite close to the dance floor because it wasn't working. Let's put the waltz since it is a new one. And I think with the grand ball thing, you can actually start the waltz. But I think you need to like ask people to dance with you. Oh, she didn't like the photo that they got. Some of them are already dancing together, which is pretty cute. It's very low though. Let's see if I can have the volume up. I can't help but notice that Thibault is going up with somebody that we know. This is Mercutio Monty. He was gonna do something with Mercutio. Did you guys see that? I did say in the beginning of the episode that the Capps and the Montys didn't know each other, but Thibault does. Oh! Okay, so I added some red to Mercutio and Thibault to represent that they didn't like each other. But now they have some pink. I swear I did not do that. Okay. Now that makes me curious about what they were going to do upstairs. I wanted Hermia to ask Puck to dance with her, but Puck actually got an attractiveness alert to Miranda Capp, and Miranda got one to Puck. And I don't think he got one for Hermia. But to be fair, Hermia and Puck already knew each other. So yeah, we are very attracted to him. And I think, yeah, he is very attracted to her again. But his relationship is actually better with Miranda. So I'm gonna change things up. And I'm gonna actually have Miranda ask Puck to dance with her. It doesn't have to be like romantic, I don't think. If we just ask for friendship. So we're gonna ask to dance for friendship. And I wanna see how Hermia reacts to this. Oh, he said yes. So Hermia, you could ask your brother if you don't want to be without a dance partner. Let's ask for friendship as well. But I love to see them all dancing. I don't think I've explained this before, but all of these Sims are either Sims 2 or Sims 3 NPCs. Okay, Hermia and Thibault agreed. Oh my god, did you see that? With Titania and Oberon? They're kissing through the mask. Oh, they got a new romance dynamic, wholesome. That's pretty cute. They seem to care for each other both as lovers and friends. I don't think they looked very wholesome over there, but I'm gonna say yes. So I kind of want to explore Titania's fairy kind of abilities. And she's a little bit mischievous, so I want to try maybe to influence Hermia's relationship with someone. But I feel like seeing everything that kind of went down with Miranda, Puck, and Hermia, she would maybe influence her relationship with Puck. Okay, we can give them romance or friendliness. I'm just gonna increase their friendly relationship. I don't know, I feel like it's kind of weird for her to increase the romantic relationship of her son. I mean, it is weird for her to do this with teenagers, period, but Titania is kind of sneaky like that. So let's see how that goes. Oh, she becomes a little fairy. Oh, they became good friends. Okay, okay. The fact that from all Sims, Hermia and Miranda are the ones that are flirty and not Juliette is kind of hilarious to me, you know, considering who Juliette is and everything. Juliette is actually hysterical now, so I might actually need to have her calm down, but I'm pretty sure Romeo is around here somewhere. Yeah, he's over here. I don't think they saw each other yet. I don't think they would know that they are, you know, Monties and Capps because they are wearing masks and stuff. What I might do, since it's already almost 10 p.m. and we're halfway done with the grand ball, I think I'm gonna have Titania start the grand waltz, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so as you guys just saw, Romeo actually decided to invite Juliette to dance with him, and as soon as they got to meet each other, Juliette actually got an instant attraction to Romeo. As I've said, they don't really know who each other are, as in, you know, a Capp and a Monty. They just kind of saw each other, you know, across the room and decided to dance together. But the waltz is still ongoing. I actually really love the waltz animation. Oh, wait. Miranda and Puck got a bad sentiment towards each other, so grand schmutz. So Miranda cannot believe how badly they tumbled during the grand waltz. She worries that Puck will never want to waltz with them again. This did not go well for them. I didn't even know that could happen, but I actually want Juliette and Romeo to maybe go somewhere more quiet so they can chat. But remember that Thibaut actually knows the Monty, so he saw everything that just happened, and oh wait, he's dancing with somebody else. Who is this? Okay, this is Jihoon. Oh, this looks romantic. Okay, so he saw what just happened, but he's a little bit busy right now. So Juliette's just gonna, you know, escape and talk to Romeo a little bit. Okay, look how nice this view is. Oh My god, this is so beautiful. They do already have some romance just from Romeo, I think, automatically flirting with her. But I am kind of struggling with their relationship getting up because I think it might be due to their being rivals. What I might actually do, I'm gonna be a little bit sneaky. Well, technically Titania is gonna be a little bit sneaky. So she saw that they came over here together. So what we might do is actually come over here to Juliette and then do some fairy magic and kind of influence Juliette's relationship with Romeo. I think I might increase their romantic relationship because I feel like in the spirit of Romeo and Juliet, they kind of have to become lovers before they become friends. So let's do a little bit of magic and see if that works. I don't know if it can actually fail. Oh, that was fast. Let's see if it works. It did! Romantic side affections begin. They have now a strong romantic relationship. Ooh, that's interesting. So let's have them chat a little bit. Tease mercilessly. I don't think so, Juliette. Maybe take a picture together to kind of remember this moment.
Sycophus? Huh? Anji!
Okay. I don't think with this interaction we actually get the picture. We're gonna be kissed by Romeo. This happened automatically. Wait. So let's watch them like this. Oh my god. I did not tell him to do that. I'm not even controlling him. They had their first kiss. Oh my god, this is so romantic. Okay, let's keep this going. Let's maybe offer him a rose. I don't know where she got the rose from. I do need to keep an eye on Juliette because she tends to be a little bit mean. She wants to do something romantic. Maybe start out with a candlelight dinner, a late night stroll, and end the night with some stargazing. Okay, we can just do anything romantic to fulfill that, I think. So maybe a bold pickup line. Since, you know, she's a capp, she's bold. Oh, that's really cute. Okay, and they're now both very satisfied in their romantic relationship, which is barely a relationship at all. Oh my god, he's thinking about marrying her already. That's very Romeo coded. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so they're just gonna give the little goodbye kiss. Oh, that's a really cute animation. I don't even know what mod this is from. Oh my god. I do have a lot of mods for like romance and kissing. So, oh my god, I don't even know which mod that was from. And look at all the moodlets that she has. She has a bunch of romance ones. Hard Racing from Kiss. It was just a light kiss until they put Juliette back in. Now their hard ones settled down. Oh my god, she just laid him down. She won't stop like doing those autonomously. First kiss, super satisfied, deep connection, flattered, glitz and glamour. Wow, something about the body, new friend, gorgeous selfie, first kiss ever. I think I'm gonna end the party here before somebody else sees them. So I'll meet you guys back at the Capp Manor. Look at how high their relationship is right now. It's like fully pink at the moment, and they do have the crush sentiment towards each other. She doesn't really know that he's Romeo, and he doesn't know that she's, you know, the Juliette either. I don't know how they didn't ask each other's names, but they were just caught up in their feelings. It was kind of wild to me how quickly they got their romance up. I know that Titania influenced that a little bit in the beginning, but they did kind of fall fast. Oh, is that Madam? Does she need something? Oh, she's just excited. Let's have her maybe pet her a little bit before she goes to bed. Everyone else is already asleep. I did want to continue with the caps tomorrow, but I've been filming for so long. So I think I'm gonna actually end this part right here. And yeah, let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know what you thought of Romeo and Juliet getting together and the masquerade and everything. I wanted the actual event to be a little bit longer, but I'm happy with how everything turned out. And I'm actually really curious about Tybalt and Mercutio. Like, what were they going to do and why do they have some romance? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, and I'm also curious about the whole Hermia, Puck, and Miranda thing because they both seem to really like Puck, so I guess we'll have to see how everything turns out. Oh, why does she not like Regan? Oh, I don't know. The Caps have too much drama for me to keep up. So yeah, I guess we'll have to see how things turn out next time. So yeah, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed my version of Veronaville, and we'll keep going next time. So bye bye.